why don't we get this puppy rolling? And just in case anybody is curious, our man Carlos, because he is the man, is officially recording this. So as always, we like to get you guys a replay. So welcome to the official recognition webinar that we do every single Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My guest this evening is the only Derek Nelson, who you guys will be hearing a lot more about in just a minute. But before we get there, before we start chiming into the fabulous content, why don't we do this? If anybody is here for the very first time, this is your first time in a Now Lifestyle webinar, this is your first time here checking out Now Lifestyle, it's your first time checking out the recognition webinars that we do every single Tuesday, do me a favor and just drop a comment below and let me know that this is your first time so we can welcome you. Robert, look at that. He put his hand up, not shy. Obviously, David Kinder, welcome. Appreciate you guys jumping on board, man. Carl's first time. Awesome. Love it, man. I just want to welcome you guys officially. Sheila's first time. Guest. I love when people do guest. Phyllis's first time. A lot of first timers in here. Awesome. Awesome. That's super good to see. I'm glad we're getting reaching some new audience. This was very, very good. A lot of people have been sharing this link today, and a lot of people are excited about tonight's webinar because of a certain someone and the stories that we're going to talk about tonight. Now, before we get in an interview, one quick thing. I want to let you guys know, if this is your first time, which is really good, and you haven't taken action yet, what I want to do is encourage you to stick around till the very, very end of this webinar, because we're going to have something very special for you. If you haven't taken action yet, if you haven't gotten started yet, we have something very, very special for you at the very end of this webinar, so stay tuned for that. Also, before we really get going, what I want to remind everybody to do, like we do every single Tuesday, is have some paper, have a pen, okay, and get ready to take some notes, because if you are not taking notes, you are literally losing money. Your notes are like your uncashed checks, okay? So if you're not taking information from tonight or any of the other webinars here on Now Lifestyle, whether it be the A-Teams on Monday, Richard and John's on Wednesday, Janet's on Thursday, if you're not taking notes and you're not using that information to grow your mind, to grow your business and succeed and win, then you are just missing out on amazing opportunities. So take some notes, and I can promise you, you want to have a pen and some paper tonight, because this guy over here is going to be dropping some value bombs for Sheezy. Okay, so without further ado, I want to introduce the man that is sitting over here right next to me. It's an absolute pleasure to interview him tonight. His name is Derek Nelson, and I know a lot of you guys may not be familiar with that name, but again, write that name down, because you're going to hear it more and more and more over the next few months and the next year inside of Now Lifestyle, because this dude is a rising star. He's super into personal development. He's super into just growing his business, and he has a great story to tell. We're going to hear about that tonight. But Derek, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the recognition webinar on Tuesday. Say hi to everybody, man.
Hi, everybody, and it is an absolute honor to be on this tonight, and I am looking forward to this.
Awesome.
So I appreciate you asking me on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Well, I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. I see all the videos that you're making. I see everything that you're doing in the Facebook groups out there, all the action that you're taking, and it was just kind of a no-brainer to have you on this call tonight.
Awesome.
So, with that being said, what prompted you to say, you know what? Obviously you'll be able to tell your story. I know you're obviously into, I think, insurance sales or something along that lines. But what prompted you to say, you know what? I want to build a business online. What made you take a look at what we're doing and say, I want to do that?
Well, for me, it probably happened a lot differently than most other people. I'm getting a lot of feedback.
All right, it's coming in crystal clear for me, so it may just be a thing. If you want, you can turn your camera off and then turn it back on. That might help.
All right, let's try that.
Okay.
All right, hopefully that worked.
Yeah, I mean, my sound is perfectly fine. I don't know.
Okay.
If
It's
any,
better. People are responding that it's better. Okay.
cool.
All right. So let's reset that button. So basically, I got started a lot differently than most people probably take a look at this. I have been following Joe Terrian for probably a year or so on Instagram, and it was mainly just for the workouts. You know, I'd see his training stuff, and once in a while I would comment, and we started to go back and forth. And one day he followed me, and we were talking about our families, and that's what prompted him to follow me. And maybe a month or so later, he was talking about how he's turning 46. Right? Am I getting that right? He just turned 46.
Yeah, I think so.
Happy belated birthday, Joel. So he said he wanted to go from 7% body fat to 6% body fat. And I just commented on the Instagram post and said, Joe, how do you manage to stay so lean? I work out a lot, but I always carry a few extra pounds. So how do you keep the body fat low? And what he did was he said, here, watch this webinar. And it was basically the Lean for Life challenge, the fiber challenge. And I clicked it, and it was a $1 trial. And I said, all right, let me see. That looks like workout program. So I started looking at it. Like anybody that has any sort of curiosity, you click some more buttons while you're in the back office while the trial's ticking. I say, look, what else is on here? And then I just found the business side.
Yep.
So I sent him a message. I said, I just signed up. He goes, I didn't expect you to do that. I said, well, I think I see an opportunity here, so let's give this thing a shot. And that's pretty much how it all started. It was like towards the end of May.
Awesome. So, I mean, obviously you poked around, you saw some of the business opportunity, as well as obviously some of the, honestly, I mean, you are kind of in that small percentile of folks that actually get in it for the health reason. Most people start an online business specifically because they want to make money from home. And now, I mean, for me, obviously, I've seen in the last, really in the last 30 days, like all of the, personal development things and all the videos that you've been posting, and how driven you are. So once you realize the business potential, what are some things that you decided to do right off the bat in order to start building that business?
I created two more Instagram handles. One's really geared towards the health side, and one's more of an inspirational. I'm never really pitching on there. I just have the links in the bio, but I don't really, it's not like every post it's like, oh, click this link. I don't do that. I just post stuff. I just try to gain attention there. And I just try to keep things upbeat, because I think when a person's upbeat, you don't have to go, the absolute wrong way to build this business or any other business in the world is to spam the world. Right. So that's the absolute worst way to do it.
All over Facebook.
It's terrible. And part of the problem is that people don't understand how a business works. You can't just throw links around people's comments or in groups and expect anything to happen. And if it does, it'll be by complete accident. So I just try to be upbeat and positive, and that makes people more curious than anything. They want to learn more about you. Like, what why is he so happy? What's he doing? He's so upbeat on life. I mean, and I talk about my beatdowns too, as much as I talk about the good stuff. I'm not afraid to say, I'm running appointments during the day for my primary source of income right now. I'll drive 110, 120 miles just to get there and knock on the door, and nobody's home. And so it's a little demoralizing. And, like any business, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You have to have those moments. And it's how we react in those moments that make us, in the future, what we do today creates a tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, basically, so I got started with the Instagram post, and then I started running some solo ads, just doing that just to get the clicks.
Yep.
And from there, I do those fairly consistently. I just started doing the Facebook leads, and those seem to be a little bit higher quality. And so, I'm just trying little by little. And once with the retirement planning and the insurance that I'm doing, that's been sort of like a lifelong struggle for me. But I am with a newer organization now, well, new to me. And so they're actually setting appointments for me that I'm running. And I've talked to Adam and Ashley about this. The whole premise behind this is to take a percentage of what I'm earning, let's call it 10%, take 10% of every check I get and reinvest it.
Yep.
I would much rather do something like that and have an opportunity to multiply my income and eventually walk away and have a completely passive income than to throw, $400 or $500 a month, or even if it was $100, into a retirement account that I can't touch for the next 20 plus years. I mean, to me, that's completely useless. So I want to keep the money flowing, even if you can only do something small now and you build upon it, because it will multiply itself. So I want to take a percentage of those funds. That's what I'm looking to do, and throw it back into the business so I can expand the business at a quicker rate.
Yep. So just to summarize here, I think, hang on a second. Seems like I'm getting a pretty bad echo here. So hang on one second. I'm gonna come off camera.
Okay. Uh-oh, just me now.
You obviously you got on board. You came in from a physical standpoint. You saw the business opportunity. You liked what you saw. You took the trial. You took the dollar trial. You liked what you saw. You got going. You instantly went to social media. I think, mainly because like you connected with Joel on Instagram. So that's kind of what you're familiar with. And that's because obviously you could have went Facebook, but you went Instagram. You created a couple accounts, and then you also started taking action with solo ads and now Facebook leads too. So it's like you're kind of, seems like you're starting to fire on all cylinders here, which is really cool. But you also said something that, again, if people are paying attention there and they're taking notice of what you're saying and they're taking notes, is that you're actually taking a percentage of your income and then reinvesting that into your business. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that's great. And I think that as long as people have the financial means to do that, that is absolutely awesome, because all you're doing is, you're creating almost like you're compounding interest with your business. You're compounding your efforts by constantly putting that in. Now, when you say, and let's just clarify this so everybody here is on the same page, when you say you're in, taking a percentage of your income and investing that into your business, what are you investing that in?
I'll do solo ads. I'll buy Facebook leads. I test some of my own Facebook ads, a little bit, nothing big, but I do test stuff. Like what I'll do is, I boosted, I had a video I did last Saturday, a few days ago, and it was by a waterfall. I thought it was a pretty cool video. So I just boosted it for $5 and I ended up having, 700 views on it. So it's more of a branding process. You're not going to really get immediate. Anything with social media is a branding process. So that's what Instagram's being used for. I've always been a fan of that. I've done it in retirement planning business. I've stood up there and shown how you could, use savings to do this, to do that, or how life insurance can be a tool. So I've always been trying to promote myself. And so, yeah, Instagram was just another logical step from there, because, hashtags create a ton of activity.
Sure. So I think it's a pretty valuable lesson here for everybody, that if you are taking a percentage of your income and investing that into your business, obviously you're focused on growing your business.
Yes.
But I think you're also, in a way, in a very good, positive, and serious way, you're treating your business like a business. This isn't a hobby. You're actually doing it with the intent to build a business. And I think that's a very valuable lesson for everybody, if you're paying attention here, and I hope you are, is treating your business like a business. And if you do certain things consistently over time, you're going to expand, you're going to compound your efforts, and you're going to get better results. So what are some things on the daily here that you are doing to effectively grow your business? So obviously you're using Facebook leads, you're using solo ads. You're dipping a little bit into Facebook ads. So clearly you're taking action, you're taking money and investing that into traffic, which is growing your business. What are some things that you do on the daily to keep your business moving?
When I get leads that have phone numbers, I do send a text. You know, you can't expect a high response rate with them. I've recently just started combing through more of them to see whoever has phone numbers. So I want to start actually picking up the phone and calling them. I post on social media several times a day. And the reason I do that is because if you're not out there and you're obscure, nobody knows about you, and you really can't climb to the top if nobody knows your name, right? So I'm trying to be out there. I'll post 3 to 5 times a day on multiple platforms. The only one I may post only once, if that, is LinkedIn. But as far as Instagram and Facebook's concerned, I'm always out there, no matter what. It's multiple times a day. I'm using hashtags on that, and I get pretty good feedback on those. I know a lot of the comments are automated, but still, it keeps it within the feed if there's likes and comments. So I'm trying to just, it's a slower process, but this is how some of the big names built themselves up. Like a Gary Vaynerchuk on social media is an absolute monster on there. And, I know he goes way back. He's basically started the whole YouTube thing. But, those things take time, but you build a brand and you build a personal brand. You build yourself because, just like in any sales, people buy the person, not the product so much. So to me, that's really important.
Awesome. So you're posting consistently on social media because you're working on your brand, which I think is great. I mean, and that way people join people. They don't join businesses.
Sure.
It's if people join Now Lifestyle, it's usually because of a leader. It's because of Joel. It's because of they resonate with something that's going on.
Yeah.
With an individual. So if you're posting consistently on social media, like what type of things are you posting? Like how are you, obviously you're focused on building your brand, which is great, but what are you doing to build that brand? What type of things are you posting?
I have a lot of my own quotes that I've come up with from reading. I get little excerpts from books that I read. I make them into my own. They say you give credit once, after that you don't have to anymore. But I do create some of my own. I post other people's stuff too, because if you're going to post multiple times a day, that's a lot of material you got to come up with every single day, and it, for somebody that's never done it before, it could feel overwhelming. So use other people's stuff. I'll post Grant Cardone, Paulo Coelho, if I said his name correct, the individual who wrote The Alchemist. He's got some great quotes in there. And, Gary Vaynerchuk, I do my own videos, as you mentioned. And on Instagram, you're stuck to a minute. So if they're longer than a minute, in the comments, I'll just write, hey, if to see the rest of the video, copy the link in the comments and visit the YouTube channel. And, hopefully over time, that'll start to build up as well.
Awesome. So what type of videos are you doing?
If you watch my videos, none of them are scripted. I have an idea of what I want to talk about. It's usually like spur of the moment where I just decide, like one day I drove from, I don't know if you understand the Northeast. I know you do, but I drove from, the Hudson Valley in New York down to Long Island, 2-hour drive. And I got out of the car and I was on a busy street on a sidewalk. I just shot a video. I'll shoot a video about, just not quitting, how your money has to flow. You can't just let it sit around because, anybody who's got their money in a savings account, they're losing buying power every day, because of inflation and low interest rates. I post, I try to keep it upbeat, motivational. Something that's going to resonate with people. Keep it short and clear. I'm not shooting 15-minute videos. They're generally between 2 and 5 minutes.
Awesome. So, I mean, you're not waiting for that perfect moment. You're literally just, when the moment hits you, you're taking action. You got a good thought. You're trying. I think what's really cool about that is you're staying in the moment. You're staying true to yourself, and you're also letting other people hear that energy, hear that vibe, and hear like what your thought process is right at that time. And
Sure.
I think what's great about that, what's really cool, and this is a lesson for everybody, is if you wait for that perfect time, you're like, oh, you know what, I got to shoot a video, but I'm going to wait till I'm tucked in the corner of my room. I have nothing, you know, I have the peace and quiet all around me. And then by the time you grab your phone and you hold it sideways, you're going to fumble your words. You're not going to know what to say. And then you're going to do 47 takes to get like a 30-second video, where if you just kind of look at what Derek is doing, and he's just kind of doing it in the moment, that's how you deliver some of your best content, because you're sharp, you're in the moment, you're just going with the flow, and you're talking about what you're feeling, which is really, really cool. So
yeah,
on that note, I mean, obviously you're taking a lot of action here, which is really, really cool. And I want everybody to see that. Like, one of the reasons, guys, that Derek is sitting with me here tonight is because of the action that he's taking. He saw the vision. He saw the business opportunity. He's driving solo ads. He's using Facebook leads. He's doing some Facebook ads as well as the Facebook leads, and he's posting on social media consistently. That is what you call taking massive action. All right. And he's not doing these perfectly scripted, well-edited videos. He's not waiting for that perfect moment or doing things till it's perfect. He's just taking action and putting his stuff out there. That's how he's getting results. That's why he's sitting with me here tonight, is because of the action that he's taking. Now, obviously, your business is growing. I see the non-personal signups coming in from you. So obviously, the action that you're doing is starting to yield you some results now, which is really cool. And take us through a process. So you're driving solo ads, you're driving Facebook leads, you're posting consistently on social media, you're working on your brand. You're obviously taking a lot of action. Now, when you get somebody in your holding tank, when you actually sponsor somebody, I'm sure that's a great feeling, especially if you wake up first thing in the morning and you check your holding tank. It's always nice to see when people join your business while you're sleeping. But once you actually sign somebody up, so somebody sees you, they resonate with you, whether they come in through social media or they come in through a solo or whatever it is, but somebody joins you, somebody joins Derek. What are the steps that, once they're actually joined your business, what are some of the steps that you do to help them get going? Oh, I think we lost you. Yeah, just take the video off, hit talk now, and then come back on. Nope, hang on. I'm gonna kill your video. Just wait like 2 seconds and then come back on. Hopefully this works. All right, so let's see. Try it.
Can you hear me?
Boom, rocking.
All right, cool, awesome. I'll blame that on you.
Technology, folks. It's technology. Now I got you over here. Before I had you over there. Now I got you over here.
It's all right.
So anyway, you
keep people on their
sponsor
toes.
somebody into your business. Now what?
If there's a phone number, I'm picking it up. You got to call them.
So you actually call people that join your business?
Yeah, I mean,
that's a concept, man.
It is, and picking up the phone could be uncomfortable. You know, it can be uncomfortable, but you know.
Hang on. Let's talk about this for 1 second.
Okay.
Why would it be uncomfortable for anybody to pick up the phone and call? Someone just joined my business. Why should I feel nervous about calling them?
I think it goes way back. We could get into the programming and the paradigms that we have growing up. Anybody who's not expecting you to call, to me, is a cold call. I mean, literally, if I called my mother and she's not expecting me to call, technically it's a cold call. She might say, "Hey, I'm in the middle of something. What do you want?" Anyway, so but the philosophy needs to be, they joined the business, they left their phone number, you need to pick up the phone. It's like your obligation. You have to do it. You have to personalize it.
Dude,
Otherwise, they're going to be lost and they're going to go away.
I love what you just said. It's your obligation. So guys, think about that. Think about what he just said. It's your obligation to pick up the damn phone and call them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait. Don't hope and pray that they just suddenly go all in and become a rock star and make you a lot of money. Pick up the friggin' phone and call them. All right, sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, you call them.
That's a good stat. If you get a hold of them, let's say you get them on the phone, let's say they respond back to your text message, what is your next step in the process after that?
I will always request. I mean, it's a request on my end, but the way I ask it differently. I said, "Hey, listen, just want to let you know that I'm here to help you. When's a good time we can hop on the phone? I got availability, this and there. I make it so it's you schedule an appointment,
Sure.
and I'll walk you through it. Make sure you watch these videos. Afterwards, you'll have some questions. I'll be happy to do a screen share with you. We can hop on the phone and chat."
Awesome. So you connect with them, you walk them through the dashboard, the back office. What are some of the steps that you're taking them through?
Yeah, like I've had people that I've worked with. I create all my own follow-ups. I've sent them to people. I'm not afraid to do that because if it's going to help me, it's going to help them too. So obviously they can't. I post links to my YouTube channel and stuff. So they have to change that, but they get the overall content, and so that could be used. So that's something that I offer.
Awesome. So I think it's absolutely crucial that you're helping people, you're helping connect with people, and you put it bluntly to just say it's your obligation to pick up the phone and call them, because these are people that literally take out their credit card, they pay money to join an online business. So why leave them out there in the dark? Why let them just hang there and try to figure it out on their own? Why not connect with them and then help them get started? Help them, I don't know, get results, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you have the overall massive action and the process down pretty good. I mean, don't mind my dogs over here. They're in here huffing and puffing and making a lot of noise. Hang on one second. I get one of them scratching at the door over there.
Yeah, no worries.
They're whining.
So while he's doing that, I'll just say I'm not afraid to take action. It's going to be imperfect. It'll improve over time, but if you wait for the time to be perfect, that time will never come, and you'll be sitting around waiting a long time. I've been through real hard times. I even said this on one of my videos. I've been through hell and back. I just keep going, and the key is just to keep your mind right. You got to keep it right up here, and you do that by I write my goals every morning and every night. If I'm having a crappy day, what I do is I review them. So I know you get stuck in the day to day. What you want to do is you want to have your eyes on the prize, so you know where you're going. I have a vision board. I look at it as soon as I wake up, when I'm going to bed, because I want that to sink into my subconscious mind. So I don't know, Daniel, you back?
Yep, I'm here, bud.
Okay.
So what you were talking about, let's expand on that for a second, because you were talking about writing goals down every day, and I think it always reminds me of when Adam and Ashley first got going, because when they were first started doing some live webinars with our group and some small teams and everything, they would always kind of end a webinar or end a video or any segment or chance that they had to, they would always talk about, do you know what you're doing tomorrow? Right. And that's, if you're not writing your goals down, then how the hell do you know what you want to accomplish that day?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's absolutely awesome that you're writing your goals down. I think it's absolutely awesome that you have a vision board. I mean, I'll even share with everybody right now. You can kind of see that's my vision board right there. I get to stare at that every single day.
And your screen's been frozen for me forever, so I can't even see it.
All right.
I don't know. I hope everybody else can. Go get my board. Can you hear? I'll have my assistant, my boss, show you mine.
Can you you can see the video now? Can you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
All right,
Perfectly
cool.
clear now.
Yeah, I don't know. We're a little glitchy tonight, but that's okay.
That's all right. So here's my board. I'm in New York now. This house is in Florida, but what I put right in the middle is this.
Nice.
And there's no reason why every one of us can't have that vision of being the top earner at Now Lifestyle, because the reality is if you're worried about someone else earning more than you have a scarcity mindset, I think there's more than enough to go around where we can all be multi-7-figure earners when it comes down to it. I don't care what your budget is walking in. I don't have a big budget right now. I lay out $55 for solo ads. I do this, I do that. I keep it small, but I keep it consistent. And then as the income grows here, you're able to fund more. And then that's when it starts to get its own legs, because you're not only funding more, but you have more people. So it multiplies upon itself.
I want to share one thing that I hope everybody's realizing here. So there's two guys on screen that you guys are watching. There's two guys here. We're just two dudes hanging out. However, we're on camera, and this is going to sound maybe a little blunt, but it's meant to. We're both on camera. We're both talking about how we're having good results in our business, and you're not. We're both taking action. We're both driving traffic. We're both following up. We're both signing up people consistently. We both focus on personal development. We both have vision boards. You guys noticing any patterns here? I don't know. What do you think, D?
Yeah, again, you have to know where you're going, because if you don't, any road will take you there. Here's something that I got to do this again for myself, but ask yourself in 6 months, or use the end of the year, where exactly do you want to be? Where do you want to be with your health? Where do you want to be with your income? Any area of your life. And then what you want to do is reverse engineer that. What is it going to take to get there? Right? So it's like, well, if I bring on this many people, I'll have ballpark, this type of income. And so it's like, that's great. So you got to bring on this many people, but the question is, how many other people do you have to go through to get those people? So you could say, it's easy to say, well, if I get 10 people, I have this. If I have 20 people, I have this. But it might take you 400 people to get 10. Like that's the part that you got to figure out. So I always say, Edward just wrote 10x it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You 10x your actions. No matter if you're thinking today what it's going to take to reach your goals, multiply that action by 10, and you'll have a much better shot at hitting it. And you might even, you may even you may even surprise yourself and surpass it.
Yeah, 100%. So I think it's awesome that you're focused on being goal driven. You're focused on writing your goals down and really creating a plan that you can work on executing. Again, because we take it back to what we said towards the beginning. You're treating your business like a business. This isn't a hobby for you. This isn't something that you get to like when you get around to it. You have a plan to execute. So again, guys, take note of some of the things that Derek is saying. He has steps that he takes every day. He has action that he takes every day. He's been consistent over a period of time. He's going to continue to be consistent over a period of time because he knows where he wants to go. He knows where he wants to be. So obviously I think we'll call you a notch above, I would say, most people when it comes to a positive mindset, focusing on, your personal, you have a vision board created. Most people don't have a vision board created. So, right there, that shows us that you're focused on bigger, greater things, bringing good, positive things into your life, bringing good, positive results into your life. What are some things that you do on the daily to focus on your mindset, to focus on your own personal development? How do you work that into your process?
And just for the record, I haven't always been like this. I've had the negative. I've had the job in the past where I spent every penny, and then like, what do I do now? It wasn't until 2011. Somebody told me about this book. I was leaving a position in remodeling sales, and we were out to dinner, and he said, well, you keep talking about your family, and obviously that's a driving force for me. And, he kept talking about this book called The Secret. And I said, well, who wrote it? And he said, well, it's a secret. He literally wouldn't tell me, like he was almost playing games with me. And so I saw the movie, I read the book, and I've done it all just more than once. But what I did with that secret was I got real curious. So I took it a step beyond. And a lot of people take The Secret the wrong way. They think, oh, you just think and it pops into your head. But people don't realize Rhonda Byrne, who wrote that book and did the movie, she took massive action to make that happen. She left Australia. She came to the States. She sought people out. So she took massive action to make her dreams come true. So what I did was all those people that she interviewed, I started looking them up. I've never heard of them. Bob Proctor, Jack Canfield. So I started studying these people. And that over the years, first it's kept me sane, as we went through our hard times. And, we're not out of the woods yet 100%. But you don't stop no matter what, no matter how you feel. If sometimes I'll pick up, I'll read a Bible verse. The book of Proverbs is great. There's a lot of life lessons in there. I'm reading a book now by Joseph Murphy called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And what that is it basically comes down to what you think about all day long is what you'll become. So if you think about misery and poor me, it's always going to be misery and poor me.
Mm-hmm.
So I, as far as the goals are concerned, I do it as soon as I wake up because my subconscious mind is open. I do it right before I go to bed. And the funny thing is, every once in a while, I have a dream about it. Not saying it doesn't happen all the time. And then if I'm in the middle of my day-to-day activity and it's just not going well, I'm feeling down, I'll review. I may not have them with me, so I'll do them in my head. So it's just got it takes no effort to think negatively. It's like a default thing. So to think positive, to think is the hardest thing we can do, believe it or not. And it is a challenge because it's very easy to go back into the default mindset that we've been programmed since we're, in the womb, essentially, because, we've been trained all our lives.
Dude, I think I hope people are paying freaking attention right now because you just probably dropped about 47 nuggets in like the last 5 minutes. But I mean, plain and simple, we become like what we think. Like what you think about, you create. And a lot of people, for some, that just might be way over their heads. But you literally create what you think. And exactly to everything that you just said, from The Secret to the law of attraction to positive thoughts to mindset, personal development, like, and you see this in a lot of the Facebook groups too, whether it be the Now Lifestyle Facebook group or even just the regular Facebook feed as people are trolling through, which, by the way, trolling on Facebook, guys, is not an income producing activity. So sit with that. But if people are bitching and complaining all day about how broke as a joke they are and they never can do anything, they never get anything they want, they can never do this because they don't have the money to blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? If you think about debt, pain, and misery, you're going to have debt, pain, and misery. But if you think about abundance, joy, fulfillment, and you start thinking about that, I don't know, maybe create a vision board and put a whole bunch of awesome positive stuff up there with you and your family and all the things that you want and deserve in your life, and you start thinking about that and looking at that every day, then guess what's going to start to happen? You're going to start bringing that stuff towards you. But the flip side of that, guys, is it also takes work. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes energy. And just like Derek said, you have to think, you have to be positive. And on top of that, you have to take action. It's like Jim Carrey has a great line where he was talking about when he was starting his career, he was thinking, I forget what book he read, but it might have been Earl Nightingale or whatever it was, but it was about, basically what you think you create. And so he's like, I didn't say, I want to make $20 million a movie and then go make a sandwich. No, he said, I want to make $20 million a movie. And then he got his ass to work. Yep. He started working for it. And that's what you got to do. Whatever results you want, you got to work towards and go get, but you also have to positively think and project those things out there. So, I mean, dude, you're dropping tons of value. I really, really, really hope people are paying attention. So you mentioned a few times in the last few minutes about finding ways to keep going, finding ways to keep moving forward no matter what happens. Mm-hmm. And this is where one of my favorite Jim Rohn quotes comes in, and please write this down. And he basically says this: if you want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. Mm-hmm. That's it. So whatever it is that you guys want in your life, if you want to make it happen, you'll go make it happen. If you don't, you'll come up with some bullshit excuse as to why you can't achieve it. Plain, that's the truth. That is the cold, hard truth. Now, you've talked about a lot of up and downs. You've talked about finding a way no matter what happens. What are some of the things that, and let's talk about the why a little bit behind some of the personal development. Like, what is pushing you? What is your why that's pushing you to keep going when times get tough?
I'm looking around my house right now, and everybody on this webinar can do the same thing. If you look to your left, you look to I'm looking to my right. If you look to your right, you look to your left, you look up. I see a light. I'm on a table that we're talking on a computer. All it is started by a mere thought, right? Nothing existed until it was thought of. So I like, if people can think their ways into things like this, like, people didn't come to certain lands, we'll say the Americas, until somebody thought about actually trying it. Who discovered it's another story, but it's just like everything is a thought, and thoughts become things. So if person A if there's somebody in this business doing well, that means it works. The system works. Maybe the person doesn't. And so that brings it back to the why has to be powerful, right? Because again, you can easily go back into the poor me attitude, the default thought process. But what keeps me going, and the reason why I wake up before everybody else, besides the fact that I love drinking coffee, the reason why I get up before everybody else is because I like that quiet time. My conscious mind is not revved up yet, so it lets the stuff that I'm reading and thinking sink in a little bit. And I put the vision board over, by the window, and I just stare at it. I read my goals, and then I stare at my vision board. I just sit there quietly with a cup of coffee.
Dude, I feel like it's the same exact thing.
Yeah, see, it's I have to have that quiet time. I have 3 children. I have a wife. You got the mortgage, you got everything else. But even beyond that, like, yeah, of course, you want your family to be taken care of. You don't want them to worry. I think worry kills more people than anything else in the world. So it's I'm conscious of that now. I used to get really tense, and now when I start getting tense, most of the time, I think about what it is I want, and it tends to relax me. And beyond me, I think about like my in-laws or my parents. I just did this video today actually on, it's actually very generous to want to create wealth, because you not only can have more fun for yourself and be more relaxed and live a higher quality life, but you can offer loved ones a higher quality life as well. You could give let's say your elderly mother real care. I've seen both sides where someone was able to give their mom well care, and the others, they couldn't afford to do it, and their end of life the quality was very low, if anything. So you're able to help people. If you have a charity you're passionate about, you're able to donate more money to that charity. Plus, forget, even on top of the money, if you do the business right, you could donate more of your time. Time is just as valuable as money. In fact, I'd argue it's more valuable. So I want the time freedom to do what I love. That's spending time with the right people. It relaxes you when you have time and you don't have any worries in the world. You're healthier. It's like it's automatic. You have to be healthier if you're not stressed, right? So you got to build that income. You get the time to yourself, and then as a secondary, you use the money as a tool to help other people. And that could be you help your own family, you help others, you help charities. I mean, that's just what I see. Like when I get emotional about money that I have, it's like, well, I could put the money here and generate this type of income and provide that to my parents for the next 25 years. That's how I think. But you got to have that principle first.
Sure. So I have a quick question for everybody that's watching right now. And just give me a why or yes. For everybody that's watching this right now, how many of you out there would like somebody just like Derek on your team? Real quick, would you want someone like Derek on your team?
I'm going to start blushing.
That's pretty overwhelming. That's a pretty overwhelming yes. Now, here's the thing. You're never going to find somebody like Derek if you don't take action, if you don't drive traffic, if you don't pick up the damn phone and call your guaranteed paid signups, if you're not reaching out and following up with your Facebook leads, if you're not following up with the people that land in your holding tank, if you're not driving traffic, if you're not taking even just some of the action that Derek talked about tonight. So whether it be building a presence on social media, whether it be staying consistent with solo ads, staying consistent with Facebook leads, staying consistent with guaranteed paid signups, just stay consistent at something. Stay consistent so you can go find the Derek Nelsons of the world. You can go find the Adam and Ashley Reekers. You can go find the Sean Mullins, the David Haynes, the Janet Legers, the Richard and John Webergs, because they're out there. It's not, yes, they are one-offs, they are originals, but there's more people like them. But you're never going to find them if you don't take any action. So, dude, you're dropping bombs left and right. I love the mindset, man. It's crazy how like you talk about getting up early and like it's rare for me, and I truly cherish the moment when my son, who is currently sleeping right now, but like when we can get up in the morning and he's still out and we can go downstairs and like the coffee right now is already prepped in the coffee maker. Like when we can go downstairs and hit the start button on the coffee, pour ourselves a cup of coffee, sit in the living room and just like, you're in that, just like that, almost like a Zen state where you're just relaxing and the house is just silent. Like I love that. Or sometimes like I'll even come up here and I'll just sit and I'll stare at my vision board and I'll just sip my coffee. Like those moments are amazing. So all of you, you owe it to yourself to create that sort of moment in your day, create that moment in your week. But, you got to be focused exactly to Derek's points are, what are your goals? What are you driven by? What's your why? What are some actionable steps that you're going to be taking every single day? So Derek, I got an important question for you.
Okay.
So for a lot of people here that are, let's say they're brand new, they haven't taken action yet, or they're thinking about taking action, or you get the people that haven't even signed up yet and they're watching this, they're either watching it live now or they're watching the replay and, they're thinking about getting started. What is your advice to those folks, the folks that haven't pulled the trigger yet? What is your advice to them?
I would dig deep and ask if it's something I truly want to do, because, not every type of business is for everybody. But if you truly commit to this, it'll work. Back in the sales days, there was something called the Ben Franklin, where you just kind of put a line down the middle, and on the left side, it was like all the reasons not to do it, and on the right side, it was all the reasons to do it. And, back in the sales days, you'd have the prospect would have, 2 or 3 reasons why it wouldn't work and like 7 or 8 why it would work. If you're on the fence, I would draw a line right down the middle of a piece of paper and say, hey, if I don't do this, what are the, what are the negatives? And if I do it, what are the positives? You could structure it any way you want. But for me, the negatives by not doing it were I'd always have to be available to produce an income. And I would think to myself, well, if I ever got sick or disabled and I couldn't produce an income, what would happen? Right? So I want to be able to produce an income. Okay. If I continue to work, I have to put money away and, try to save it and, maybe reinvest it. Whereas on the flip side, if I do take action and within 6 months or a year, I can have a monthly income where if I am sick, disabled, and something happens, well, let's look on the positive side. I want to go on a freaking vacation. My income doesn't stop. Right? So you got to have, the first thing you have to have is a powerful why. And for me, the driving force is my family, my health, and helping others, immediate family members, people close to me. I want to make sure that I just don't have, all the money. I'm not like Scrooge. I want to make sure that everybody's set up. Okay. Long term. I have big lofty goals and it's going to take a lot to hit it, but it takes just as much energy to, if you have a dream of earning $1 million in a year, if you have a dream of earning 100,000 in a year, it doesn't take, the thought process isn't any more labor intensive than one or the other. It's just the way you think, because there's an extra zero on it, you think it's a big deal, right? But is it really? I don't know. I mean, I haven't hit it yet, so I guess I can't answer that question, but I'm going way beyond anything I've ever done in my life, and I want to use Now Lifestyle as the vehicle to produce that.
Awesome. Yeah, we got a great question here from your sponsors, which is Adam and Ashley Rieker. They're saying, what is your goal with Now Lifestyle and how many people do you want to impact?
I mean, if you build a big enough organization in Now Lifestyle, put me on a spot. If you build a big enough organization in Now Lifestyle, you'll impact thousands upon thousands of people. Okay, that'll happen no matter what. My big goal for Now Lifestyle is to be the top earner, and my long-term monthly goal is $1 million a month.
Awesome. You know what? Let me just point something out right here. Is Derek just said $1 million a month. To the average person, that's like most people are going to say, no way, never going to happen, can't, won't, not gonna. But to have, let's just call it what it is, to have the audacity, to have the cojones to say that you want to make $1 million a month, number one, it is possible. It is possible. Number two, holy crap, like, just thank you for even thinking that big, because most people don't allow themselves to think that big. And you're thinking that big, because my goal ever since I got started and first, intrigued about network marketing, my first goal was 6 figures a month. I will hit 6 figures a month. Will I hit 7? Sure hope so. And I'm going to be working towards that and,
Sure.
Go big or die trying. But I will be making for sure 6 figures a month, because I've always wanted that and I'm never going to give up on that. And 100%, you can definitely be the top earner as long as I look in my rear view and you're right behind me. That's fine.
Yeah, if I can add to that, on my quest to reach top earner, I hope there's people, I know you'll be there, but I hope there's people that are like, Derek's on my tail here, or I want to catch up to Derek. And by doing that, we actually lift each other up.
Yep, absolutely. It's friendly, healthy competition, which is awesome. And of course, what are you doing at the same time as far as you're surrounding yourself with amazing people, and you are who you hang around with. You are who obviously, to quote many other people, you are like a reflection of the 5 closest people to you, or the 5
Sure.
people that you spend the most time with. And a lot of people think that in a physical term, my uncle, my aunt, my brother, my sister, my mother, my kids, whatever. But it's also 5 people who you spend the most time with. So even in today's age, if you are connected with people online, either on social media or whatever it is, and let's say it's on Facebook and you're just listening to your friends bitch and complain every single day, well, what's
Unfollow.
What's that?
Unfollow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's gonna rub off, and that's gonna have a reflection on you. So
Yeah.
if I'm surrounding myself with people like Derek, that's where I want to be. That's where you should want to be too. So we're literally coming up on an hour here, man. So any last words of wisdom, any last tidbits of advice for now lifestyle? And keep in mind, I mean, this is obviously being viewed now, but this will get viewed hundreds and even thousands of times after this when it gets emailed out. What is your advice for the now lifestyles to help them get where they want to be?
This is so humbling for me because I am pretty new here. Advice is, a lot of the stuff that I talk about, I think a lot of time, like when I post videos, it's for my own good sometimes. So my advice, absolutely, you have to stay consistent, even if it's at a small level. Even if you spend $50 a week or $50 a month, just maximize the dollars that you have, and that 50 will become 75 to 100 to 200, and you grow. You just keep it as a percentage of what you're earning. So keep it small at first, if that's what you have to do. Like, if things are tight, you don't shut down. Instead of saying, because when we say I can't do something, your mind completely closes off. It's over. Instead of saying I can't do it, you say, how can I pull this off? There's got to be a way, because there's somebody out there in the same situation and a different mind that is making it happen because they just asked themselves a different question. Instead of just making that statement, I can't do it, they're like, I wonder how I can actually pull this off. And then it gets your mind working. So as far as advice, you absolutely stay consistent no matter what level, because it will grow. And never say I can't. Never shut your mind down like that. And you have to get good and then get great at controlling your mind. We've been in the default process for decades. It's time to get really, really good at controlling it. And then ultimately you'll have full control of your own mind. And that'll lead to all the success you'll ever want in life. I guess that's it.
Dude, you freaking crushed it, dude. You hit the nail on the head.
I appreciate it.
Many different ways there. Just to answer a quick question, somebody asked how much you spend on traffic per week. How much Derek spends on traffic per week, how much I spend on traffic, how much anyone else spends on traffic is 1,000% irrelevant. It makes no difference. He's not going to, if he tells you a number, it's not going to make any impact on your business at all. The point is, what he was saying is find something in your budget that works, and then start to slowly grow that and build that and scale that up. Like, again, what we talked about in the beginning and all the way throughout is treat your business like a business. Find what is going to work for you and find a way to make it happen. Don't just give up, don't quit, and don't say you can't. And to quote Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So them's the truth, my friend. So if you think in your mind that you can't do something, then you're right. If you think that you can, you're right.
If I could just add one more thing.
Sure.
That I just thought of, and this is something I practice. Never go to sleep at night not knowing what you're going to be doing the next day.
1,000%, man. 1,000%. Like, you mean like actually like write? Light's a little weird, but anyway, there it is. Write down some things that you want to accomplish tomorrow.
Yeah, I have my goal list. I have my to-do list. I have, the appointments for my primary workplace now. And I just go in between that. If I'm not running any appointments, or if they cancel on me, I have kind of like a little backup plan. So, you always just know what you're doing the next day, because it's easy to get lost and just say, what am I going to do?
Yep, exactly.
It's easy.
So, guys, plain and simple, like I said in the very, very beginning of this, if you hang around to the very end of this webinar, or if you're watching the replay of this, if you haven't gotten started yet, if you haven't taken any action yet whatsoever, you haven't actually signed up, then what I want to do is I want to invite you guys to take the same exact trial that Derek took, to take the same exact opportunity that Derek had. So when he was in the back office, he was poking around and said, wow, I really like what I see. I want to make a go with this. If you guys haven't taken any action right now, what you can do is you can click on that link that I just dropped in there, and please don't drop any other links. You can go to nls1d.com and you guys can try this out for $1. And by the way, it's refundable.